What is our project today? Oh, we're out in the garage. It's winter now. And what do you suppose my project is? I don't believe what I just saw. I don't know how this is gonna go. Kaboom. See this? Garage door, R18 vinyl faced insulation panels. And Momi got this from the store, and she wants me to install it. I didn't want to put any insulation in on the garage door. I thought, what's the point? Because we've got the door going into the condo, and it's got weather stripping around it. See, we've got weather stripping around this door. There's a weather stripping underneath the door. There's the threshold there, and I made sure I've got everything adjusted nice and tight. No airs coming around here, but she still wanted it because she has this idea that if we can keep this garage a little bit warmer, then it's going to keep the house warmer. And I don't know if that's going to be or not, but hey, who am I to question her about it? Because she works out in a garage with an instructor, and in his garage, it's a 2-car garage, and he put this insulation in on his garage. And like I say, I don't know how much good it's going to do. I'm going to get in there in a minute and do that. But you know what? If you have an area like this and you want to work out in your garage or do something else in your garage, maybe you can put your insulation panels in there. And here's another thing she was thinking. We've got a bedroom above the garage area that seems to always get really cold. Even though it's got a heating register in there, there's not a whole lot of heat that goes in there, and she's convinced that whoever installed this sheetrock on this ceiling, that they didn't put any insulation up in the ceiling. This is the floor of the guest bedroom up there, and so she thought if we put insulation, this is the other reason she wanted insulation on this garage door, to keep the garage a little bit warmer, so that maybe it'll keep the bedroom up above that warmer. I'm not sure if that's all fine and dandy. Later on, one of these times, maybe in the summer or something, I'm going to poke a little hole up in here and see if there's any insulation up there. I'm sure there's insulation. No inspector would approve of this area being the floor of a bedroom up above without putting insulation. Now, granted, maybe the inspector missed it. Who knows? And the other thing for the garage, you know, she's got these windows up in there. Now, that means I'm only going to be able to put insulation panels on these 4 panels and not the top. I don't know what she's going to do with that. Now, one thing, and I'm not even sure if there's enough for 5 panels. We'll see. This is all she got from the store, and maybe I'll have to get some more. Who knows? I'm going to get this open here in a minute. And, you know, if she really truly wants something up above, we could put this vinyl window film on these top ones so that you can't see through there, and then install insulation around there. I really, truthfully, don't want to put insulation on those top windows, but we'll see what's going to happen here. Okay, so if you want to see me pull this stuff out and figure out how to get this installed, that's what this video is about. Have I ever done this before? Absolutely not. And look at that. It says covers one single uninsulated garage door. 8 pieces, 22 inches high, 54 inches wide, 2.5 2¼ inches thick, R8 insulation factor vinyl face. This is going to be interesting to see, and we're going to get into that in a minute. Yes, I'm probably going to be using some of these. I've got a dust mask. Probably going to have to put that. Oh, look at that! I just tried to pull that around my ear and it just came off. Silly rabbit! Look at that! I can't believe that. Let me have to fix that before we get going, and then I might put some gloves on too before I get ready to work. And I've got my back brace on and my knee brace on. I've got a knee pad here and all that kind of good stuff. And you know, always kind of be ready. Look at that. I just tied that back on there. I have no idea if that's going to hold now. We'll just have to kind of be careful with that. Oh yeah, it's going to work. It's going to work. Okay. So yeah, first thing I'm going to do, like I say, have I ever done this before? No, I never have. And so the first thing I'm going to have to do is pull this stuff out, and I'm sure there's some directions in here, because you can't just put this stuff up there without securing it, right? And so we'll have to see. Oh, okay, I see what she did. See, that comes in the plastic bags like that for the different panels. Okay. And sure enough, it's got, this is probably some tape stuff. It even gives you some little plastic rubber, some rubber gloves. And then it gives you some things like this, okay? So I'll have to read the directions. I don't see any directions in here. Maybe there's some on the side of the box or something. I'm sure I'll figure it out, because that was one thing I was trying to think. How, when you put those panels up, how are you going to hold it? How are you going to hold it on the actual garage panels without it coming down, especially when you roll the door up? And it's gotta be something here that you clip on there, or do something that's going to hold that up. And I'm thinking maybe there's some sticky on here that you peel this off, put those on there. We'll see. I'm going to have to do a little bit of investigating here to figure this out. All right. Let's see where we go from here. Well, here's all the directions on the back side of the box. Okay. And so I'm going to look at this step by step on figuring out how to do this and how to get those to stick, okay? Here's your tools needed: utility knife, tape measure, straight edge, and that's about it. And when I cut, if I have to cut any of these, I happen to have some plywood here. I can set the plywood down on the ground and use my drywall knife on there and cut it that way. But I'll have to check this out a little bit more, but I think it's doable. Okay, I think I got everything figured out. Let's see there, here. I knew there had to be some sort of trick here. One of these gets taped onto the door, and the other gets hooked in like this. And you push it in, and then it clips like that. And that's what holds the front of the insulation on. And now I'm going to have to kind of pull this apart with a couple little screwdrivers. And see, they give you the tape to put on the doors. And so they gave us 16 or 18 of these. There's 6 times 3 is 18. And on each panel, I'm going to put 2 of them. So like on this panel here, I'm going to split the difference in thirds. And I'm going to have 1 there and 1 there. Okay? So 2 on each panel. There's 4 panels and 4 panels. 2, 4, 6, 8. Who do we appreciate? 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16. So I need 16 little buttons taped on here, right? 16, and I've got 16 times 2 is 32, and I think I got 36 total. And I've got 18 of these, so I should have 2 of these left. Do you see what I mean? So I'm gonna measure. You'll see. Keep watching this video, and they give you this little piece here. This is a little vinyl piece with tape on it, and you can cut this in case you do a boo-boo on here or rip it or something like that. You can put this over it, and you could also get some shipping tape, some clear shipping tape, and I've got some clear shipping tape, and I may end up. I think I'm going to put some around the edges. Is what I think I'm going to do. Now they tell you on these panels. You see on these panels, there's 8 panels that come in here, so that tells me first off there's only enough on here to go the first 4 panels, not the top ones, and I think that's just for design. And it's like your whole door is going to be insulated other than your top 2 panels. Okay, and this door happens to have a little insulation on here to begin with. That's something that came on the panels. This isn't the actual panel. The panel's on the outside of that. So this door is already insulated. That's kind of slick that it's like that. I'm kind of liking that. But that's going to make our insulation stick out a little bit further around the edges. Maybe this is like supposed to be 2 1/4 inches thick. And see, on these panels, when I put the panel in, I've only got about 1 inch to this, and I can kind of push it down in there. But see, this panel is part of the actual door, and you see how it kind of moves in there. Now there's no way I'm going to pull those panels out, because that's, like I say, that's part of the actual door. So when I get done with all this, I'm going to have to kind of pooch it in there, and I may have to put the clear shipping tape all the way around this to kind of hold it in there, because I got my panels actually 2 1/4 inches thick, right? And I could leave it on the sides and let it stick out. We'll just have to see how this works. Or in fact, it says to cut the panels wider than you need. And so you see on these panels here, first off, I measure it, and they're about 52, a little over 52 inches, and they're with the plastic to plastic 21 1/2. And when I come over here to these panels, let's just look at this panel right here. If I measure this from here over, I got 50 1/2 to there. Okay, and so I know I can cut my panel back a little bit, and then when I measure this on the inside to the outside up underneath here, I got 17 3/4, and I've got 21. And so what I'll do is on my actual plastic, I may measure 18 inches, let's say, and cut it 18 inches, and it tells you to measure it and cut it a little bit longer. And I may have to look at that and make a decision as to maybe I'll make it a little bit more than 18 inches, 18 and a quarter, 18 and a half or so. And then once I get the insulation up there, I can kind of just for kicks, I can kind of have the pink on the inside, see? And then I'll pull the plastic up a little bit, and then maybe I can tape that with some tape, with some shipping tape, let's say, possibly around the edges. It tells you you don't necessarily have to do anything around the edges. Maybe I'll just tuck it under there and let it stick out. I'll just have to see. I could maybe tape it afterwards, because see, if I didn't have insulation on the door already, then theory would have it that I should be able to take this whole thing and push it in like that, see, around the edge. And see, as I push it in, this is 2 inches thick. It's supposed to be 2 1/4, but I can take it around the edges and just poke it up in there, see, like that. And then I'll probably do that. And then you're gonna have those 2 buttons holding the rest of it. But then I think what I could do is put the shipping tape around there, around the outside, all the way around. I don't know if I'm gonna do that or not. I mean, they say you shouldn't have to do that. This would look really clean if I had it pushed up in there. And see, I'll cut it a little bit long so that I got enough room for that. And then on the edges, you see, I don't have anything to push it in right there, right? On both sides, I don't have anything like that. And so on that, let's see where I'm at. Okay, here we go. On that, when it pushes up tight on this edge, I might want to measure the plastic just a hair further, maybe. Maybe I'll measure to the center of this and kind of pooch the insulation back, and then hold that over, and then I can tape that, and then this will be white all the way down this metal, and then I can do that on both ends or something, and that'll help hold the edges. You know, if you don't, or you can just hold it like that, and it's just going to be pushed up like that. Do you see what I mean? I'm gonna have to think about it on where I want to cut that first one, because once I cut the first one, that's pretty much it. And so I think for the sake of argument, in fact, remember that? What was this? I'm gonna measure this again. Let's see here what we got. It says on the directions how long these are, but see, I got about 52 inches or so of the actual plastic area. 52. And if I look at this again, let's just measure the inside measurement. See, this tape I've got, this is magnetic on the end. Isn't that cool? I can just hold it like that, see? I got 50 and a half from inside to inside, but I want that plastic to the center, right? And if I go center to center over here, I'll be centered on this post here, and then I'll just be sticking over on this other side about 3/4 of an inch. That's okay. So I have the white sticking over on this metal here, 3/4 of an inch or an inch, and then I can have it sticking over here. So on the back side of my vinyl, you know, before I cut this, I could peel this, I could hold this and kind of peel this back a little bit, then put this on the plywood, then trim this a little bit off. Do you see what I mean? If I don't want to kind of pooch it up like that, trim off a little bit on both ends, I could do that, or I could just kind of push it in and hold this over, okay, for the length. And so I'll have to decide. I think that's what I may end up doing. I mean, I've got the plywood here. It's not going to take me that long to eyeball that and fold that over and cut it with a drywall knife. It's nice and easy to do that. And now it's a matter of measuring height-wise what I want to do there to fit it in. And I think, see, if I just measure from point to point, that was like 18 inches. And then it tells you to cut it about a 1/2 inch longer than that. I think I'll have to read the directions on it again. And so I'll make it, if it says a 1/2 inch, I'll make those 18.5. And then I can kind of pooch it down in there, pooch it up in there. So I think that's gonna work rather nicely, you know. So the first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go ahead and put those little buttons on. I've got to do some measurements there and make sure I get those out just right. Okay, step by step, you can do this.